Hi, I'm Joe. Thanks for the intro. Shout out to Dan, that was sick. I don't know if you guys enjoyed that as much as me, but that was amazing. Mine's a little bit different. I don't have kind of talking points because I would ramble for 12 years and you guys wouldn't have lunch till like 4 p.m. So what I've done instead, I've kind of designed a workshop that I'm going to take you guys through because I'm presuming you guys are primarily like agency owners, you have businesses. And to make it as like actionable for you guys as possible, like there's going to be stuff about ads, but I don't think everyone should run ads. And it's like a certain point that you get to when you're ready to say, Joe, how do we book 50 meetings a day? It stress me out when I'm in Rome. So my goal is to like make it as tactical for you guys as possible. So the kind of essence of this workshop is about lead magnets. Is everyone familiar with the term lead magnets before I jump in? Does everyone know what that means? Anyone confused? All good? Okay, fantastic. So the workshop is titled How to Scale Your Business, Email Lists, and Social Media by Giving Away Stuff for Free. So we're basically going to be breaking down the 5 funnel elements that convert up to 1 in 4 of lead magnet downloads into pre-sold clients. So what you're going to get. So try my best to make it as actionable and tactical for you guys as possible. You can learn the 5 critical back-end funnel elements that make the lead magnets work. You'll get simple exercises to help you come up with the elements yourself. And you'll get clarity on what the Two-Step Trojan Funnel is and how to install it. I'm a marketer, by the way. I come up with names for everything. I'm sorry. It gets simple, I promise. If you've seen any of my content elsewhere, you probably haven't, but I hate gatekeeping. I think it's for losers, and I think the easiest way to build trust is to actually help people, so that's what I'm going to try and do here. So why bother listening to me? I've built over 60 lead magnet funnels for clients, spent 5 years, it's actually 6 now, refining this strategy that you're about to see. Generated about $10 million in tracked revenue for clients through these systems. I run an agency that just builds lead magnet funnels, it's very productized. I built a white label software company that helps people do it themselves, and I run the largest paid school community with lead magnets with 400 members. So not bragging, I just want you guys to take this seriously.
And Joe's responsible for pretty much all of our ads and books.
Oh yeah.
At like a tenth of the industry average.
Yeah, I've got your winning ads at the end, which we're gonna. Yeah, so basically, because Dan knows me more as an ad person. I got started in advertising when I was like 18 and started an events company. We needed someone to learn Facebook ads, so I was like, I'll do it. Ended up paying massive dividends later on in life, but then I got a bit stressed out. I was running like 11 ad accounts at once. One of them was for the Mayor of London, can't say who, but it was one of them. And I basically just was like, fuck ads. And then Dan wanted a funnel, and he was like, oh, could you do ads? But it's working quite well, so now I'm stood here talking to you guys. So if you're thinking, is this workshop for me? Hopefully you have a proven high-ticket offer and would like a predictable way to add more clients. Maybe you know you should be doing lead magnets, but unsure the best approach. You want to stop relying on random referrals, build a consistent lead gen system. You might know you need a funnel, but the amount of info online is very overwhelming, and you don't want to waste months figuring it out and would like a proven system. If you thought yes to any of these, you're in the right place. If none of them resonated, feel free to leave. This won't be relevant for you. I do this online sometimes and see if people drop off, but hopefully no one leaves. But yeah. Still here? Great, let's keep it moving. So there's 3 situations you guys are likely in. Situation 1 is maybe you know you should be posting content to attract clients, but you're waiting for the perfect time or to have a funnel before you start, so you're stuck in planning mode. Situation 2, maybe you're already posting content, but you don't have a back-end funnel in place to nurture the traffic you're already generating, so you can only ever capitalize on the 3% that are actually ready to buy. And situation 3, maybe you're posting content, you've tried lead magnets, maybe you've got a newsletter, you get downloads, but nothing's converting into book calls or paying clients. So situation 1, waiting for the perfect time. So you're not alone. Before I started, I spent months researching funnels, hooks, watching YouTube videos, buying courses, building systems, the whole shebang, but never actually got started because I was just waiting till I had everything sorted. So you're just overthinking it. The hardest part is just getting started. This training isn't strictly about content, but just for anyone that's stuck, I'm going to prescribe you the following because basically, a lead magnet funnel only works when you drive traffic to it. The easiest traffic you can drive is through organic traffic. Everyone can just get out their phone, make a video about something they're passionate about, and say, here's a link to grab the full resource. It sounds simple, it is, it's just getting started. So that's why I thought I'd just add the easy way to start posting. So step 1, just pick a platform. I'd really recommend LinkedIn for high-ticket clients. It's so targeted. You can literally just search founder in London, 10 plus employees, and you have a list of people that can pay you some decent wedge. Step 2, publish 1 interesting story, 1 framework, and 1 client transformation per week. Step 3, you can post more if you want. I post 5 times a week, 2 stories, 2 frameworks, 1 transformation. Set up an automation to connect with 20 dream clients per day. I use Prosp AI. That's been the safest one I found. And then batch create different types of content and just use a scheduling tool if you want. Now you'll basically be actively sharing your ideas, nurturing your audience, and ready to start converting the traffic you'll be getting into emails and pre-sold clients with lead magnets. Woohoo! So a few of you here might already know some of this stuff, so thanks for sticking with me, but I thought it was worth mentioning for anyone still feeling stuck like I was. So situation 2, if you're posting without a funnel, you're actually already doing the hardest part, as I said, which is creating content. But there are 2 big problems with posting without a proper funnel in place. So problem 1, you're wasting up to 97% of your traffic. So there's a thing in marketing called the 3% rule, which dictates that only 3% of the market is ready to buy now. That's why, benchmark page conversion rate is 3%. If you're before cold email, you could send 1,000 a day. Like 3% was like a good if you're doing it. Now it's like 0.03 because of how much you can send. But even with no back-end funnel, you technically still have a funnel because it's just simply a journey a potential client goes through before working with you. And that's the thing some people think about. They're like, I don't have a funnel. I'm like, you do. It's just non-existent yet. So you do have a funnel, yeah. It's just not built to capture the other 97% of traffic. So this is kind of like a diagram that explains at the top you've got your traffic sources. In the middle, you've got where you drive them. And on the left, you can see 3% ready to buy. These are the ones that DM you, they book a call, they're the random inbound leads you think you've cracked the code. And according to this Vorsight study, they say 40% is not ready, but they're close in terms of to have a sales conversation, and 57% need more nurture. So this 97% of lost opportunities is what I try to help you recover. So problem 2, you're actually building on rented land. So you might have heard this before, but you don't own your followers, the platforms do. I've seen people lose their whole audience overnight from bans, hacks, or platforms just going out of fashion. That's why I always say your number 1 goal should be to deplatform your followers into the highest leverage marketing asset there is, which is an email list that you own. Or you can just scrape thousands like Dan does and go just kind of cut out the middleman, which is where a lead magnet comes in. So platforms change, algorithms change, but your next client's email stays the same. Situation 3. So you've got content and a funnel, but maybe you're not making money. Sad face. Congrats if this is you. Well, you've likely picked a problem your ideal client has, created a resource that solves it, you've driven traffic to an opt-in page, and you sent them to a thank you page with the resource. This is not wrong, and you'll get leads and emails, but it will still only capture the same 3% who are ready to buy now because you're still relying on people who downloaded your thing to reach out and inquire. So here's what a funnel in that situation would look like. The only thing we've added is the bottom below the 40% not ready to close, a lead magnet, and then a thank you page. So what's the problem? It's actually by ignoring the most prime real estate in your entire funnel, which is the thank you page. So this is what we're going to fix. So what do you put on the thank you page? That's element 2 in the 5 elements of a high converting backend funnel, which we'll get to in just a moment. But for the sake of clarity, I thought we'll go through it in order. So that wraps up the 3 situations I think most of you are going to be in. If you've got a funnel and you're crushing it, then come swap and you can deliver it. But at a baseline, that's usually where people are at. So I'd love to get a kind of raise of hands, who's not posting yet and maybe they want to online. Okay. I usually do this with people that aggressively on LinkedIn, so it's funny, no one says hands for that, but cool. 2, posting, but you don't have a backend funnel, so you don't really have anywhere to send the people. Okay, cool. I'm glad I did the thing about getting started posting, and I shouldn't have spoke so fast when I went through that, maybe. And then 3, you're posting, you've got a funnel, but you want to improve it. Cool beans. Now it's time for the juice. Let's dive in. So next, you're going to learn 2 critical things. Critical thing number 1 is the back-end funnel elements that make up what I call a client magnet flywheel. I told you I love fancy names. So this is the exact machine I've helped 400 entrepreneurs scale with. Critical thing 2 is how the 2-step Trojan funnel works, proof it works, and how you can use the methodology to start signing clients before you've even built your lead magnet. I strongly suggest you get a pen and paper out if you want to kind of remember it because there's going to be lots of questions. So winning lead magnet funnels are kind of like a padlock that needs 5 numbers in a row to unlock what's inside. So in this case, it's a proven system to scale your business. But as we learned, most of you know you need a lead magnet. That's the number 1, kind of, but without knowing the next 4 numbers, you'll actually never get to crack the code. So in theory, you could use trial and error, guess the combination. Eventually, you might get all of them correct in a row, but you waste years in the process. The other option is you speak to someone who already knows the 5 numbers. You can ask them. The rest of the training is going to show you the 5 numbers. So let's get it. So element 1 is a lead magnet page with a soft qualifier. So when someone grabs our lead magnet, we ask their current situation. So there's a little form. In this case, they're a coaching company, so they coach coaches, classic. We ask if they're running a coaching or consulting business. Won't this hurt conversions? People say this all the time. Not really. We still convert around 75 to 95%, and the benefits are huge because you basically get to find out if you're driving qualified traffic, so you can fix it. You get an accurate conversion rate on your back end funnel. You build a list of qualified leads to follow up with, and this is one of the things that people we work with love the most is getting clean data because it's all good saying, I drove 1,000 people to my page and only 3 people downloaded. It's like, but how many of those people actually write for your offer? So that's why I love to, at the first entry point, find out if they have a business. Like with Downs, we just say, do you run a business? And if no, then they exit the funnel. If yes, they get some crazy offers. So we send unqualified leads to a thank you for downloading page, and we send qualified leads to a second element of our 5, which is the easy yes offer. So what type of lead magnet should I build? I recommend having a suite of like 3 to 4 different ones that solve problems at different levels. So one is like a simple checklist that gives them wins they can reference against their current approach. For example, with Dan's, we just like, here's a cold email checklist to make sure that you're going to be landing in the primary inbox, which is helpful. They don't go super viral like some other ones, but it's basically having something that if someone comes to you and be like, here's that thing that could help you solve that problem. Case studies, one of the biggest transformations that you've had, kind of showing your unique process, your unique mechanism, the thought process of how you get someone from A to B. Custom GPTs, these absolutely were flying earlier in the year. People have caught on how to do them a little bit more now, but they still work. Solving a narrow problem, you can just feed it your checklist and get it to give custom advice based on your checklist for their unique situation, which is kind of a really cool way to help people at scale. And then a long form resource that breaks down your solution into 5 parts. So more on this later. So the market will always reward creativity. So keep an eye out for what's popping off online and see if there's a way you can adapt it to your own offers. And the truth is, your only restraint is your own creativity. So with the rise of AI and vibe coding, you can basically build tools in as little as 30 minutes. So here's 2 examples for how I've built them. Example 1, the AI magnet maker. So I built this on Claude. I just wanted something that could create long-form lead magnets from someone's existing content, but using my long-form kind of writing framework. So I made this in about 3 hours where they can just put their existing social posts, stuff they've done, and they can pick what they want in their long-form resource, and they can have a lead magnet. Great. This is a custom GPT example, so I called it the magnetic headline writer. In this, you essentially just feed it your lead magnet resource, and it will write a landing page based on my copywriting framework. So it just really helps people go from A to B. I always say just like, how can you solve a micro problem for someone with AI? Like it's really, really rewarding when someone kind of uses it, and you can check the back end, see how many conversations it's had. You're like, oh, people actually are using this. It's a great feeling. Side note, I finished like a 6-part video course on how to create, launch, and scale AI tools. As a thanks for being here, just come chat to me after. I'll shoot you a link to it. There's no upsell, promise. But back to the funnel. I can't promise anything, actually. That's a fucking lie. It's a massive lie. Literal bonus is a VSL. Anyway, as I mentioned before, we send unqualified traffic to thanks to downloading page, and we send qualified traffic to the easy yes offer. So we're starting to build that funnel now. This is where we can convert around 1/4 of the leads that download the lead magnet into qualified booked calls within 2 minutes of them grabbing it. So here's our funnel starting to take life. What is an easy yes offer? And it's cool you said earlier as well. Give them an easy yes. It's a one-time offer for qualified leads to book a value-driven session to solve a narrow problem that naturally flows into your paid offer. So why this works, it gives you a chance to demonstrate your expertise. It helps you stand out from a generic discovery call with actual value. And it provides a low-friction way to develop the relationship and ascend your value ladder. So this is how I go about creating an easy yes offer. So step 1, just start with all the problems and the goals that your ideal client has or they wish to attain. Step 2, just pick one thing you could solve or help them attain in 5 to 10 minutes on a call. Give it a good name. I'm a marketer. Here's a template. Whatever the topic is, with a blueprint, clarity, accelerator, any sort of word that they can see an outcome in their mind. Make sure that the natural next step would lead to the problem that your core offer solves. Once you've delivered, like the session, it can be in 5 to 10 minutes. You can say, are you open to learning how core offer helps XYZ? So you kind of ask for permission to start selling them. And if it feels aligned, then you transition into your main offer, and it should feel very smooth. So that's a very high level, but should give you enough to get your brain thinking. So what we do is we actually A/B test this against a more direct apply to work with me offer, because 3 years of testing, we found that different markets respond differently to offers. So with Dan, I hate to say it, but I spent ages crafting this really cool easy yes offer. We're like, we're going to do this AI lead gen scope out. And we're like, but we should probably split test it against your ridiculously good offer of 50 sales calls in 30 days or a refund and $1,000 for wasting your time. Like, what do people actually want? It kind of comes down to their awareness levels and how much pain they're in. Because if you're in a shitload of pain, you want leads today, you're like, I don't want to scope out. Like, I just want leads now. How do you put your little robots to do that for me? And it doubled the performance, just saying, we will get you 50 qualified calls in 30 days. I've memorized it because how many freaking ads I've written for it. But it was really cool for that. To like, it was the first time it was such a big jump. I think it was like 6% to like 12%, which on the page conversion rate, oh, it's an like it goes up by 6%, but no, it's doubling the amount of calls you book going into your funnel, and that's at scale when you're spending like 100 quid a day or so on ads. Like that really adds up. Does it actually work? Rather than trusting some random person you met, this is Ethan's funnel, the guy who I've been taking you through. As you can see on the right-hand side, we've got lead magnet conversion rates. That's 78 to 100% conversion rate. Obviously, I don't guarantee 100% conversion rates. That's just a bit wild. And then you can see on the Easy Yes offer, we drove 454 people to it that were qualified, and 111 of them booked a call. So that's a 24.4% conversion rate. Dan and Jack's funnel stats, I haven't annotated these because I added them on the way. In Ethan's example, he already built up a lot of trust through content. So converting 1 in 4 was just like, he finally gave them an offer. But this is cold meta ad stats. As you can see, it's still converting 10.6%. So, you know, our highest performing lead magnet ended up being an AI prompt that helps people write cold emails, but we're not allowed to call it cold email. We call it outbound. And so cold traffic converting at 40%. We're actually also getting their mobile numbers and finding out if they have a business. So it's still a pretty decent conversion rate. But yeah, you can see 59 people booked a call from this when I took the funnel stats earlier. And that's not, we also have a direct sales offer, but we'll go into that later. For now, this is just a lead mag. So what's cool about this is that you lead with value, you give away free stuff, and then for the people that want your paid stuff, they get an opportunity to book it. So it's quite a nice way of selling, and especially when you post content about the free stuff too. So compared to cold outreach, not coming for cold outreach at all, where converting at 1% to booked calls is considered good, converting 24.4% is pretty good. My favorite part about Ethan's funnel in particular we're doing before, that every single bit of traffic was from 1 social post per week on LinkedIn using a viral giveaway method, which we'll get to later. And it also grows your email list and your followers because people have to follow you and comment to download the resource. And for those who don't convert here, that's where the rest of the funnel comes in. So elements 1 and 2 together are what make up the 2-step Trojan funnel. I call it a Trojan funnel because you're like giving stuff away for free, and then on the back end you sell them an offer. But it's a thing, rather than like killing everyone, you're like helping them. So maybe I need to call it like reverse Trojan funnel. I don't know, it gets complicated. Even if that's all you guys take away from it, because a lot of people like know they need to do a lead magnet, but they have no idea like how a lead magnet actually converts into sales. It is putting a one-time offer on the page after they download your lead magnet. It's so funny how many people kind of inquire with me and they're like, they don't work. Like, look, nothing's happened. I'm gonna go, they're not even going to a thank you page. It's just thanks for downloading. Like the form just goes, cheers, see you later, and then they're lost. So how to sign clients before you even have a funnel. So earlier on, I promised how you could use Easy Yes offers without a funnel. So step 1, you just have to come up with the name, the outline, and the big promise. Step 2, you can reach out to people who like and comment on your post, or it could be referrals. It could be someone that's stuck in your pipeline. You're like, hey, maybe we could offer them a complimentary session. And then you can just book them in manually. You don't need a funnel. You sit the session, close the client. This is a strategy I've used for over 5 years across LinkedIn, cold calling, cold email. Like that, I still do this now because people think because I sell funnels that like I'm not actively trying to sign big clients, but like I know that my Dream 100 client list aren't going to download my little resource and come in. So I'm actively still hunting. But when you have a back-end funnel like this and your offer's worked out, it's a really cool thing when you can be like, oh, we could offer that person that thing. Kind of get to tailor it for them depending on their situation. I added this in from a workshop I was doing a while ago, but you can see I get like really nice replies from my cold email because I basically offered to help them for free. And they're like, damn, that would be super helpful. And what I do is I take them through what I'm teaching you and go, hey, you know how it works. You can either go do it yourself, absolutely fine, hire a VA in the Philippines, $4, or you can get help from the person who designed the system to implement it for you. And they're usually like, oh, well, he's already showed me this system. I trust him. He's shown me proof. I should probably just like work with him. And it's a really beautiful thing. It doesn't apply to every single offer. Like I can't say that this works with everything, but for example, like people love helping people that help them in general. Like reciprocity is like one of the biggest ways to sell. And the reason why I love selling like this is because my offer just sells itself through it. They're just like, do you want me to install it now? Yeah, it really helps just leading with value. I'm just huge into like value-driven sales. As I said, I'm no means a cold email expert here, but I just want to show you that you don't actually need a funnel to benefit from this strategy. Once you come up with an idea for a session, hire Dan, he will send you 1 million cold emails an hour, and then you can just scale it that way. But yeah, cool. Element 5, the 5-day expert series. So all qualified leads get enrolled into a 5-day trust building email course that breaks down your solution into 5 steps or gives 5 expensive mistakes. So this trains your audience to look forward to and actually open your emails, and it subtly sells them again on you, your ideas, and your ability to deliver. This is the other thing, people kind of burn their lists. They just start selling straight away. And imagine if you download something from someone and the first 5 emails they send you, they're just hard selling something. Your brain will see their name in your inbox and be like, Dan always sells me, I'm not going to open his emails anymore. But if you're like, oh wow, Dan helped me solve XYZ problem, I should probably open his next email and his next one. As I said, it primes them for 2 outcomes. Outcome 1, if they have already booked your session, they can start pre-sold on you and your ideas, which makes closing them much easier. I remember it was just really rewarding to get feedback from a client where they're like, clients are just showing up to sales calls going, oh my God, day 2 of the email course you sent me was like fantastic. Like I want help with that. And it's a really cool like kind of nurture thing. You guys probably know you need to nurture to get people to show up to your sales calls primed and ready. But I love having this as an entry point because it's the first bit, like 5 communications someone gets from you. Because like, could you imagine on social media that you had control over the first 5 posts everyone saw of you? You would put your best stuff there. And that's what you can do when you build an email list and you build an automated flow. And outcome 2, if they didn't already book it, you prime them for a call to action, which is element 4, because you led with value and didn't pitch slap. So how to come up with your email course. So in the lead magnet section, I recommend one of your resources breaking down the solution into 5 steps, where you can just deliver 1 step per day. So think of them like mini LinkedIn posts for each day. You can record a Loom walkthrough or just do text only. Just make sure to give proof, a framework, and some action steps to actually help them implement it into their current situation. So technically it's still a lead magnet, but it's a back-end funnel element in itself because it's like a standalone thing. And not only is an email course one of the strongest lead magnets, but everyone who grabs the other lead magnets gets enrolled into it if you have an automation set up. So this means no matter how they enter your funnel, they go through a 5-day nurture sequence, training them to open your emails, which is very powerful psychologically. So here's a live example of another one with Ethan we did. So the main lead magnet was 14 days of lead generating posts. But then on every single lead magnet, it also says bonus. You get my 5-day client acquisition course 100% free. So it primes them ready. Like, oh my God, I get a course as well for free. This guy's over delivering. So here's what the new funnel looks like now when we've added this little email course in. And for those of you who regularly pitch for clients, knowing you're up against other competitors, this 5-day expert series does something incredible. So let's say you're a ghostwriter, for example, you're pitching for your dream client, you've made it to the final round against one of your biggest competitors. The client says they're going to give it 7 days to discuss internally. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to head to your website and they're going to go to your social media if you have it to weigh up the options. And that's kind of what they're going to go from. Now let's say you both have killer results, case studies, and so does your competitor. You're neck for neck, but your competitor has one thing different. So on their case study page and LinkedIn, they have a simple CTA that says, click here and I'll send you my exact 5-step magnetic content framework. I used to help Russell go from 0 inbound leads to oversubscribed in just 6 weeks. And then over the next 5 days, the client gets a tactical, value-driven email solving a real problem whilst getting pre-sold on their unique methodology in their inbox. Who do you think the client's going to be going with? The person who they've seen giving value in their inbox every day for 5 days, demonstrating that they have a solution, or the person who had a great pitch and they kind of forgot about or made them different? I know who I'd pick. And you'd be surprised how often this happens. Hence the importance of having a 5-day expert series that nurtures the traffic you're already getting. Thanks for sticking with me through that example. Let's keep it moving. So element 4 is the 3-day no-brainer squeeze. So this is a proven 3-day sales sequence that talks about your core offer with a 72-hour deadline with limited bonuses if they apply to work with you. So day 1, I always say introduce the offer with a case study. Day 2, handle the objections, positioned as frequently asked questions. This is where you just list everything that anyone ever asks you on a sales call, basically. Every objection, fear, and you just answer it in a nice, friendly way. But like, X, what, this, like, the goal is not to hard sell. The goal is just to educate to the point where they just understand your offer so well they want to reply and like get it installed. Day 3, just a final reminder of the bonuses and the cost of not taking action if they choose to ignore you. This is the only one that's a little bit more salesy. We would like, imagine life in 3 months of time. If you've been booking 50 appointments a month, what would that look like for your business kind of thing? So, and this only goes to the people that haven't already booked their session. So they're not like, hey, why are you sending me sales emails? And here's how that plays into your new funnel. So as you can see here, this is where it starts to become more of a flywheel because after the 5-day email course, if they haven't booked the EasyS offer, they get the 3-day sales flow, getting them to apply to work with you, becoming a paying client. What's cool as well is your leads reply with a keyword to these emails if they're interested in the offer, and the system can automatically tag them plus send the details of the offer over to them. So it's another really nice automation. And these emails are designed to get your leads applying to work with you rather than you saying, here's my link, book in some time. There's another thing, there's like a big unlock when someone works and we're like, no, like we're basically doing like with or without you energy. Like, hey, we have this offer, we have 4 spaces this month, you can reply keyword and you can hear the details. If not, I don't care, it's all good. The final bonus is that even if they don't book, apply, or sign right away, you've built a list of potential interested clients so you can follow up across different channels. This is a huge thing as well that a lot of people don't realize. Like someone on your email list, if you have their full name and they've emailed you saying a keyword and then they just don't check your emails, you message them on LinkedIn, hey, like I noticed you replied to my emails, just thought I'd bring it over here because I hate emails or something like that. They're like, oh, this guy actually cares. They're monitoring their inbox. They're like able to ask custom questions like, oh, I had a look at your page, I actually think you'll be perfect for this, XYZ. Now onto the 5th and final element of the flywheel, which is where we look at one of the many ways you can drive consistent traffic. There's actually 3, I don't know why I put 1. Viral giveaways and subtle CTAs. I'm literally wearing the same hoodie in this, I promise I have other hoodies. So for viral giveaways, we essentially announce a high value resource, a lead magnet, we could charge for, but we're giving away for free to anyone who signs up by commenting on the post. You've likely seen these across LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. They work so well. This one did, so there's 1,200 comments, but 600 of those are replying saying, just send it over. So there's like 600 people signed up for this resource. It was literally an AI prompt that helped people do deep avatar research on their customers. They could make their content better. And it's crazy because I built it and released it months ago, but still when I open the Google Doc, people are on there like actively using it, which is like the coolest thing about, I would always recommend doing lead magnets as a Google Doc because you can just see if people are actually using it. Yeah, they work really, really well. I highly recommend them as like a way to launch something too. Don't I need a big following for this? No, they actually work very well because people comment to sign up, which drives positive algorithm signals, showing your post to more people and it builds momentum. So I personally went viral doing one of these back in 2023, which is why I doubled down on them as a service when I had less than 1,000 followers and seen many others do the same. So if you have a niche offer, will it work? Honestly, no, because your total addressable market of LinkedIn or wherever you're doing it probably isn't big enough. But this is just one of the ways you can drive traffic. Which brings me into subtle CTAs, which is what everyone can do if you post content with great effect. So how to drive consistent traffic without hard selling. So although viral giveaways are great, you can only really do them so often. If you're doing them every single day, people are like, oh my God, he's just trying to sell way too much. But that's why I love the subtle CTA method, because it just slots nicely into any educational piece. So you could write an educational post or a story. It can be related or unrelated to the resource. And you just finish saying, P.S. If this resonated, you'll love my resource where you'll learn Big Promise. It's free. Just tap here to get instant access. Like, it doesn't have to be that exact CTA, obviously, but something like that where it's just, how can you plug this into ways that makes people want to deepen the relationship and be like, oh, I would love to download that and join your email list. Bonus benefit of this method is there'll be a large percentage of people who don't want to sign up for these viral giveaways. They're your lurkers. They don't want to actively signal that they're looking for solutions because they know they're going to get sold. But they would happily click a link at the end of your post or in the comments if they like your stuff and trust that you can help them solve more of their problems. So we covered a lot here. Here's a recap. Element 1 is a high-value lead magnet with soft qualification. Element 2 was the easy yes offer, split tested against a more direct sales offer. Element 3 was an email course that builds trust, bless you, and pre-sales. Element 4 is a 3-day sales flow with limited time bonuses, and element 5 was the giveaways and the subtle content CTAs. I hope it's making sense. Again, I'm going to take away these silly names that I give them. So here's how like the flywheel works in general, and I can get away with calling it a flywheel because I added this bit that says talk about the results you're getting, and then that goes back into the content. That's the kind of the visual flow. The purple things, the thanks for downloading, easy yes offer, their landing pages, and the other stuff. I hope it's explanatory with the lower icons, but yeah, happy to share this after. So that wraps up the flywheel part of this. We're going to touch on meta ads as they're a great way to drive traffic to a funnel that you know works. So the traffic bonus. I don't actually usually teach meta ads in workshops, but Dan and Jack wanted me to touch on how we're booking calls. I corrected it to 1/7. Yesterday it was 1/10. It was like £22 a booked call, which was cool because we launched new ads. Of the industry standard using the funnel I just took you through, but with paid traffic. So it's worth noting that a funnel will always convert higher with organic traffic because you've built trust and proof, credibility, all that good stuff. But with the right elements in place, it can also crush cold too. So a common misconception with meta ads is that you need high production videos, a solid 60-second script to tell a story, cool visuals, etc. for them to work. You definitely need that for like TV and stuff, but with meta ads, you really don't. Spent over $1 million on them. I always say dollars because it's slightly higher than pounds. I don't know. I'm British. I don't know. I don't want it to be truthful. I can say that simple, ugly ads actually work better or just as good, if not better than crazy high production ones, and I'll prove it to you in a moment. But first, I want to teach you how I come up with ads, and then you can see it in practice showing our 3 highest performing creators for Dan and Jack. So how I write winning ads. Step 1, this is just the simplest way, is find an image on your phone or background that's relevant to your offer. So like, you'll see in a minute with us, it's just like, I'm sat in a co-work with a coffee, and I just take a photo of it. That's it. You don't need to overthink it. Step 2, write a hook that touches on either pain, promise, or proof. So pain they're currently experiencing, promise of a dream outcome in the future, or proof. That can be proof that your thing works with results, or it can be proof in the problem by showing statistics. For example, I always lean very heavily on the 3% rule because someone can think, I'm posting content. I'm only going to convert 3%. I need a funnel. Like, I show proof of the problem. It depends on like where their awareness levels are. So if you want to go like deep with this stuff, I recommend looking up Eugene Schwartz's levels of awareness and write hooks and leads based on the awareness levels of your targets, because you basically got to bring them through something. So like someone that doesn't even understand what AI agents are isn't going to click an ad about installing AI agents, probably. It might scare them. But if you're selling an outbound lead generation system, they're like, I need lead gen.
It's sell the solution of it.
Yeah. So like a solution aware target's always going to be the highest converting. That's why our ad funnel is solution aware, because they're looking for a solution right now. But the real money in scaling, which is like a whole different kettle of fish to crack, is taking someone that's unaware of their problem. That's where people sell like 2-hour webinars where they take people, there's this crazy unknown thing you don't know about destroying your life, and then they sell you stuff. I can't be asked at that. Step 3 was writing a lead that adds value or reverses risk on your hook. Step 4 was writing a compelling CTA with an optional bonus to sweeten the deal. And then step 5, just write 3 to 5 hooks to test, but keep everything else the same, because the hook is the thing they read, and if they don't resonate with the hook, they're not going to read the rest or watch the rest of the video. Same thing applies with image or video. Then once you find a winner, congrats. But sadly, ad fatigue is the thing on Meta, so you'll find it will work for about 1 to 2 weeks, and then it will die. Thankfully, I have my kaleidoscope method. Credit where credit's due. I got this ad framework from Alex Hormozi's playbooks. It's extremely powerful. Kind of works in lots of elements of business and content too, but I'll share it in a summary with you guys right now. So how we scale winning ads. Step 1, you have to obviously find a winning ad, but then you want to analyze all the reasons why it works. So like, what is the hook about? What is the CTA? Kind of like you really want to, just analyze it. Step 2, work out how you can remix it, but maintain the core message of what made it work. And then step 3, you launch the new remix variations in a scaling campaign. So things you can remix is the background color, background image, make it a video, the fonts you're using, animations, format. If it's image, turn it into video script, vice versa. The person saying it, user-generated content. It's great for this if you just hire an actor to say the same thing. Same message said differently in as many ways as you can think. So the secret is to find winners through rapid testing and then scale them by getting creative with how you deliver the same core message. Then rinse and repeat the process. Now let's look at our 3 winning ads using this method. Cool. On the left, lead magnet, middle lead magnet. On the right is like a direct sales offer. I put easy yes because it's, the cool thing is like these guys' offers it's still an easy yes offer because it's like, it's not really value driven. You're basically saying I have this thing that will work, and if it doesn't work, I will give you all your money back plus more. So it kind of works, but like, for example, if you sell like branding, something that's like a long-term play, you can't just be like, I'll build you an unstoppable brand that scales your business in 30 days, because like it's a long-term play. So you kind of have to think about what your offer is, and that's how you package your easy yes offers. But on the right-hand side, this was like the first winning ad we got. On the left-hand side, this was the first winning ad we got. As you can see, it's literally a red background, calling out a promise. Do you want more leads, or like a problem, I guess? Steal this free AI prompt that writes 10 out of 10 personalized emails at scale. I'll even throw my personal database of 300 million B2B leads for free. Just tap learn more and claim your free AI prompt. So what happens is they click that, they get the prompt, and then on the thank you page is when they get the one-time offer to understand how Dan can install some crazy robots. I just call them crazy robots because that's just what they've become to me when I think of it. And then in the middle, so after this work, that one worked for about 10 days, and then boom, it just stops booking calls. So, okay, how can we remix it? I took a video of the London Eye and I changed the font, still using the nice colors, and I changed it, instead of want more leads, it's struggling with lead gen. And instead of steal this free AI prompt, it's try this free AI prompt. And it just instantly works because it's different. Meta rewards you when you just constantly add creative. They didn't used to, you could just scale ads, but it's kind of the way it is now. And then on the final slide, it's still taking kind of a similar concept, just like own an AI agent that books 50 calls a week guaranteed. If it doesn't deliver, you get a refund and $1,000, no retainer fees. Tap learn more to see if you qualify. And this is something that I always like to add into any sort of marketing messages. Like once you say you're for everyone and everyone can just join you, it's like, it's not very compelling or attractive, but finding out if you qualify for an offer is like, it's like a bit of dopamine in itself. Like, do I qualify? Let's see if they like my business enough. So that's something I always recommend, that you can kind of get away from anything, rather than if you have like a marketing agency website, for example, Daniel Priestley talks a lot about this. I recommend his stuff very, very highly, where he just builds wait lists for everything. Even you can take on clients right now. It's like, you can join our wait list, and it gives it's a different energy. It's an attraction energy rather than like a forceful energy. So that's something that I always recommend doing, is getting people to qualify themselves. And what that means is you build a list of leads as well. They might not be ready to buy now, but you've then, if on your form you're finding out about who they are and their revenue, their team size, if they're a good fit, even if they don't close, then you have this list that you can then go back to and kind of reach out to. That wraps up the workshop. So thanks for sticking with me. If we have time for any questions, I'd love to welcome them, and please feel free to ask me anything at lunch or later on. I'll be here all day. Question?
Thanks, Joe.
No worries.
Question: when I've used lead gen forms, I get a lot of Gmails, a lot of Hotmails, Yahoos, etc. Have you found a neat solution to pull from that Gmail that person's LinkedIn account, so that I can get a little bit more insight, because they might have some bit of a random email address, but it could be tied to a high value contact that I might want to reach out to on LinkedIn as well to double my chances?
You can use Clay, but it will cost you a mortgage. It's literally so expensive, their credits. I was like, I can't even recommend this to people anymore, because they're really going at massive enterprise level. This guy could probably work it out for you with an automation.
I would be surprised if you don't just Google their email.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Are you trying to?
I'm trying to reverse engineer a Gmail to a LinkedIn profile.
Because a lot of people actually create their LinkedIn profile. Like my LinkedIn profile is connected to my personal email I set up when I was 12, funnily enough. So like that would pull it. But if you're doing it manually, which unless you're getting hundreds and hundreds of leads, like just searching their name, they're probably going to be a secondary connection if they're like kind of in your field, but also finding out their full name. So I always say, what's your full name? And I also say, like, what's your business email? So you can kind of frame it better to try and get the business email. A lot of people won't, but it can be helpful. That's on like the front end. But then on the back end, if it's a form, then you can either just get their LinkedIn or I actually don't do that because I think it's friction. Some people do it, but I don't want them to leave the form and go grab the URL, because no one knows their URL off by heart, I don't think. But if you say what's your company name and what's your full name, if you search those two things, the LinkedIn should come up. No worries. Any other cues? Yes.
We pretty much do all our paid ads, and that's where we get a really good ROAS,
Nice.
collected, etc. We do the levels of awareness ads, particularly with if we get a little bit technical, the Andromeda update with. We're sticking in sort of 50 to 100 ads per campaign now. It's working really, really
Nice.
well. Lead costs have gone down. If we were obviously to implement the lead magnet strategy, would you do a separate campaign just on the lead magnet at the highest part of the awareness, or stick it in the main campaign?
For sure. I think you want to segment it, because like ours are two different campaigns. There's a direct sales offer, lead magnet. Just because of like, it gets a little bit tricky when you're telling Meta what to convert for, because you can either tell it to convert for leads on the front end or appointments on the back end. And it kind of depends on what your goals are. And I just switched ours over, and that's why 2 days ago, and that's why it's working better now, because we collected so much like submit application data that it's able to find them easier. So it depends on what your goals. What's your offer?
Basically, call bookings. We're in the dental and aesthetic industry, selling to businesses.
On the what, sorry?
Dental and aesthetic.
Oh, sick, nice.
So we promise them basically 15 to 30 booked clients sitting in their chairs within 30 days.
Nice.
Which is great. It delivers really well. We get 6.1 ROAS cash collected on month to month.
Very nice.
I don't want to touch that as far as the
don't. Yeah.
But I'm aware that we should just replicate that campaign, but do it for the lead magnet now as a separate campaign with the lead magnet.
what you could do there, which is cool, is that obviously your unaware target would be someone that like doesn't even know, or maybe problem aware, where you could basically have some sort of lead magnets as like this, like we've worked with 50 dental practices. Here's the top 7 ways to increase patient lifetime value, and one of them is about proper appointment setting in the actual resource. But then on the thank you page, it's like, if you have an offer that's so good like yours, there's no point pissing around with like, we'll give you an audit. It's like, here's what we do, here's how we help people. What's nice about that is that you'll attract a completely different audience than the ones who are just like hungry and in pain. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Great, good.
No worries. No more questions? Everyone hungry?
Yes.
Sorry for eating into your lunch. Pardon the pun.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Cool beans.